We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Hey, good evening, the Thin Line crew. It is I, Missy Jessie. I'm here with my sister from another mister, Colleen, and my brother.
From another mother.
Because he is my brother, Doc. And Colleen, who do we have today?
We have Tina Day, and she's the president of the Guardian Paws Service Dogs. And I reached out to Tina about a month ago, maybe a little more. And I thought she would be wonderful to have on the show to talk about service dogs, because there's a lot of misconception about really what they are, what makes them a service dog, and how they really help people. And I'm going to let Tina really kind of take it from there. I'm just so excited to hear about all of this.
Oh, me too.
Well, yeah. I'll start out with the definition of a service dog.
Okay.
The definition of a service dog is a dog that's been trained to perform a specific physical task for its handler. That makes it different from an emotional support animal, is being trained for that physical task. Doesn't mean that it doesn't help with emotional support, but there's a physical task attached to it. So like with me, I'm an Agent Orange kid, so I have all the Agent Orange health issues. So my dogs cue on me if I go into a cardiac event. They push at me, they make me sit down. If I am escalating, they will paw at me, redirect me, do deep pressure input into me. So every one of them is different. So it all depends on what the specific need is. Our program's not a cookie cutter program. We don't pick a litter and go, okay, this is what we're doing with this litter. We pick dogs for each individual person. So this last week, we placed 3 dogs, 2 first responders and 1 veteran that got dogs. And we have 6 more coming in this next week. So when we're looking for those dogs, we are looking for the dogs that are the Velcro dogs, the dogs that have that little bit of separation anxiety, the dogs that maybe get on other people's nerves because they want to be close all the time. So when we're looking for those dogs, we want those dogs that other people forget about.
Let me ask
kind of like what. Go ahead.
Do you get these dogs as puppies, or can they already be grown when you're choosing them out for service?
I've worked with dogs up to 6 years old.
Oh,
wow.
Training. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
puppies are a pain in the butt.
Oh God, yes.
And they are an escalation. If you have a vet that's been did a life, and I mean, they got 20 years in, and they're used to telling everybody what to do, and they expect to be done the first time. Well, you can't do that with a puppy.
Right. No.
It's that constant repetition trying to train that pup, and that can get tiring. So my gold age for the dogs, I love between 9 months and 2.5. Because you could start to see the temperament, you could start to see the behaviors of the dog. When we're looking at the dogs, when I have my trainers looking at dogs, we go off the AKC standard. That's what we look at first. What is the breed standard of this dog? And then we look at, so what is this dog's behaviors? The 3 we picked up this week, all were neglected. All 3 of them underweight. All 3 of them had been in an abusive situation. They got with their new families, and they've immediately just turned around.
Oh, fantastic.
2 of the dogs didn't even know how to play. So they're even learning how to play.
Wow.
So we want those dogs that nobody else wants.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
How did you start this, Tina?
So my husband's a Marine. He did 13 years and 4 tours, and he went to go into Super 5. He went to go to a local ER. My mom was in the hospital. I couldn't get to her. He went to the hospital, and they denied him access. So he went in. The kid, you're allowed by the 88, asked 2 questions. Is it a service dog, and what service does it provide? And it told him, yes, he's my PTSD dog. And the kid behind the counter looked at him and rolled his hand and went, and wrong thing to say to a Marine that did 13 years and 4 tours with PTSD.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the comment that he had back to him.
Yeah.
Nick called me and he says, babe, they won't let me in to see Mama. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. There's a miscommunication somewhere. Let me start calling the hospital. I'll climb the ladder and we'll get this taken care of. So I called the hospital, worked my way up the ladder, and the top that I got to said, nope, that's an emotional support animal. I said, no, actually, September 15th of 2010, an amendment was made to the ADA to acknowledge psychosocial service dogs. It meant it covered PTSD dogs. It went into effect January 1st of 2011. They still denied access. So I know a little bit when I know the dates like that. I know a little bit about what I do. And as Nick is downstairs and he's pulled up the ADA and he's showing the kid behind the counter, and the kid goes, no. He goes, go put your dog in your truck and you can go see your mom. So Nick walked Aries out to the truck and his 45 was sitting on the console. And his first thought was, if I walk in there with this, they won't stop me from seeing my mom. Mm. Thank God he had the wherewithal to stop. Yeah. Because all we hear anymore is a vet with PTSD popped off and did this. Yep. Vet with PTSD popped off and did that. Nobody looked at the catalyst. What was the reason for that? He ended up being on a 2-week suicide watch 24/7. He was not left alone. And at the time I worked at one of the local hospitals. I had to go back to work, and my first day back, I called, and he didn't answer the phone. And my heart sunk because I thought I was going to have to go home and clean up my husband. Right. Called my dad, and I said, Daddy, get to Nick. He's not answering the phone. So my dad, also a Marine, he's a Vietnam vet. And he gets over, Nick calls me, he says, babe, I was just taking a nap. And I can remember I was sitting in our 5th floor conference room charting, and I put my head on the table and I started sobbing. And I went, no, this doesn't work. Something's got to change. So at the time, our VA administrator, Marv Hagedorn, was running for senator. So I reached out to Marv. I said, you want to change something? We got to get Idaho law to change. At the time, Idaho law did not acknowledge psychosocial service dogs. So if you walked into a business and somebody dismissed you and you had a physical assistance dog, a mobility dog, a seeing eye dog, and they turned you away, you could call PD. It was a misdemeanor ticket with a $500 fine. But if somebody did it to a psychosocial service dog, the only leverage you had was going to the ADA. Well, we have a little ADA office, and they're overworked and underpaid and definitely unappreciated. And so I reached out to Marv. I said, we got to change the law. So we presented a bill back in 2016, and it was to get Idaho to acknowledge and come up to the ADA level to acknowledge PTSD dogs, psychosocial service dogs. Well, when we had the hearing and the testimonies, we had vets come in from all over the state to testify for this bill. I had no idea the demand. I just knew that I was raised by a Marine that said either make something right, stand up and do it, or sit down and shut up. Well, I don't sit down and shut up very well. So they started asking, well, what can we do? How can we train the dogs? And I'd already been training for about 10 years at that time. And so we started out with this small group, and February will be 10 years that we've been going. Wow. And we have served over 50 vets and first responders.
Very good.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Makes my heart happy.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm trying not to cry right now because I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. So
it's a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a lot to see.
Does somebody have to be diagnosed with PTSD to have a PTSD service dog?
So the VA is changing up their system and the way they're diagnosing. You don't see PTSD diagnosis as much anymore. You will see a generalized anxiety disorder with depression.
Yeah.
And so with my medical background, so my background's occupational therapy, I can look at somebody's award letter, or somebody can tell me their MOS, and I can tell what kind of issues they're going to have.
Yeah.
If I have an infantryman come in, I know that their shoulders are going to be gone, their hearing's going to be lousy, their hips, their knees, and their ankles are going to be trashed. And then obviously the PTSD that goes along with it. So we do look at the award letter, just because sadly the 10% screw it up for everybody, and we got lied to a couple of times, and I won't do that one again. And so we just have that documentation from the VA that once I see their award letter, I'm not worried about it. And we've seen so many, and I can usually talk to the vets. I know who's up and up and who is not as truthful as they should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, this just makes me so happy. I'm so glad that I saw your site, and I forgot where I saw it, but I think it was on a list that I got through the VA. It was on a VA newsletter, and it had a list of different organizations.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're the one that the VA recognizes in the Valley.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's awesome.
And to have you here in Idaho.
Yeah.
It has been a blessing to be able to do it, to see the differences. My favorite things are the stories that my vets tell me, my first responders tell me. I had one, he's the reason we don't do a cookie cutter program. So his name's Matt. Matt was serving, he was over in Iraq with his best friend, John. John was killed in action. John's family started a foundation in his name. Well, when Matt separated, they got him a service dog. And these people showed up, handed him a dog, and walked away. Well, they handed him a German Shepherd. Well, Matt is extremely auditory. And so a dog that makes a lot of noise didn't make a lot of sense for him. The dog was fence aggressive. They had 3 fences, all with dogs around them.
Oh.
He had 2 toddlers. That German Shepherd tail would take out that toddler every time.
Yeah.
And so he had called to see if somebody else would be able to use the dog. And we had somebody for this dog. And I kept trying to tell him, when you're ready, we'll get you your dog. Took 3 years. He felt that he was so broken that he didn't deserve it. He felt like he failed when the trainers failed him. So it took about 3 years, and he calls me. Everybody calls me Mama. And he called me and he goes, Mama, I'm ready. I said, okay. I'm very particular about the dogs that I place with people. And I had this Akita pup that I had been waiting for. And I'd been talking with Matt. I knew the time was right. So Matt ended up with Moose, a beautiful big white Akita. And they became best friends. And the pictures that I took, it was love at first sight for them. He was with them for, probably about a week or so. And Matt calls me. He goes, Mama, he won't sleep in bed with me. And I said, okay, let me come over. Let me figure out what's going on. So I get over to the house and he goes, okay, he sleeps right here. And I looked at him. His son's room's here. His daughter's room's here.
Oh.
Front door, back door, the master bedroom.
Covering all the entrances.
And Matt looks at me and he goes, oh my God, Mama, he's watching over all of us. And I said, yeah, babe, that's exactly what he's doing. Matt went from not being able to leave his house to doing cross-country trips with his family in the car with Moose. He called me one day and he goes, Mama, guess what I did? I always get scared when they do that with me.
You're like, I don't know if I want to know.
Exactly. It could be anything with my crew. And I said, what, babe? And he goes, I went to St. Luke's Pharmacy and picked up my daughter's medicine all by myself.
See.
For somebody else, that's not a big deal. For this vet, he walked into a hospital. Hospitals are absolutely horrible for him to go into. The sights, the sounds, the smells, all of it. And he was able to go in there and do that.
Wow.
We had another vet
amazing.
that had, he ended up, of all things, a service-connected brain tumor because of what his MOS was. They went to go debulk the brain tumor, and he ended up having a stroke. And he was living down in California at the time with his wife and 4 kiddos, and he felt like a burden to his family. He was Japanese American, and he carried that Japanese culture with him, that
Yeah.
stature with him, that pride within him. And he felt like he was failing his family and had to get away. And so he came up here because he worked for Albertson's corporate. Found us. When we first met him, he barely talked. He had a cane that he walked with, an arm brace that he walked with, and had not been to a grocery store, hadn't done anything like that since before his stroke. By the time he got done with us, he was with us for a full year. By the time we got done, he was able to go over to Whole Foods and go grocery shopping by himself.
That's amazing.
It was one of those things that he didn't think he could do. He ended up he gets to me because you get the ones that get your heart. 1 year he went back down and was able to go back with his family and had his marriage back and had his family back. And he had 2 more years with them before he passed away in his sleep last year.
Oh.
Amen.
At that time he wouldn't have had with them if he didn't have Diesel. His wife called me and she was afraid we were going to take Diesel back. And I said, absolutely not. Diesel belongs with you guys. You're his family. If I took him away, he'd be losing everything because he lost his dad. He needs his mom and his sisters and his brothers. He needs to be there. And I started telling her things. I said, I'll bet he's got his head near you right now. Is his head resting in your lap? Because she was crying. She goes, there's no way you could know that. I said, no, I know Diesel. I know if he could get to you, that's where he would be. I said, I'll bet when the kids are in the house that he's like Velcro to them. I said, he knows the kids are upset. I said, he's probably not eaten very much. And I said, he's depressed, so he needs to be with you guys. The dog is for the family. It's becoming a family member. It is a piece of who they are. It's not just a piece of medical equipment. The ADA sees us the ADA sees a service dog as a medical piece or a piece of medical equipment. So they're seeing no different than a walker or wheelchair or a cane. So when I'm doing, like when I work in the hospital, if I build out having one of my patients working with the dogs, I actually build it under durable medical equipment because that's what they're seen as. But there's so much more. These dogs make them have a life again. Our mission is to advocate and educate for a veteran and first responders use of a service dog to regain independence. Everything we do focuses around those 3 principles: the educating, the advocating, and getting the vets back to independence, and whatever that looks like. Last Tuesday, so we do Tuesday night training and Saturday morning training. And last Tuesday, a couple of the vets went, you know what? I haven't been to a movie. I'd really like to go to a movie. So we took 11 vets and their dogs and went to the movie theater and saw Fantastic Four last week.
Awesome. So the veterans are there with you because you talked about like this Japanese American gentleman. Was he living there?
So he lives in the area. So
okay.
Our requirement is they've got to be in the Treasure Valley and the ability or have the ability to make it in for trainings on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then they also can schedule for small group training or a one-on-one training as well. Right. So we train them to train their dogs. We don't take possession of the dogs, which makes us also different from a lot of programs. A lot of programs get all the basics in, and then they'll bring somebody in, have them live at their facility for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then get them to work the dog that way. We have them working the dog from the beginning. And if they don't have a dog, then they get to work one of the lead dogs. Okay. So they get to learn how our program works, and they're ready to jump in when we do get their dog for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is an amazing program. Like
it's amazing, like how much of a just angels, that you and everybody who works within this organization, what does it take to train these dogs? Like people probably don't realize.
Love and compassion. That's the biggest things. Love and compassion. That's where the dogs are going to learn. The dogs learn and play. The dogs learn out of love. They don't learn out of fear and mistreatment. We don't bait train our dogs. Our dogs are all praise trained. So our dogs aren't looking for a treat just because they did a task. They're doing the task because they love mom or dad and they want to be there and help them out. So if a vet that has night terrors, how am I going to teach that dog to go into them and be there and wake them up if I've got the dog with me?
Yeah.
So we teach them from their first goals when they first get their dogs is all they do is love and play with their dogs. That's all they do. The first couple weeks. I don't want them doing anything else but loving and grooming them and feeding them and doing just interaction. We tell them all the time, you'll get out of the relationship what you put into it. That's like any other relationship. You put into it, you're going to get that love back. So we don't use e-collars. We don't use prong collars. We use specific martingale collars, which is a type of training collar.
Yep.
We get a donation. There's a company called Max and Neo. They're based out of Arizona. Phenomenal company that has a 1-to-1 donation program. So every leash that's brought, they donate one. Every collar that's bought, they donate one.
Cool.
Wow.
So I had heard about them and I reached out. I'm not a rescue, but I figured all they could do is tell me no.
Right.
So I called and said, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. Any chance that you guys would be willing to sponsor us? 3 times a year, we get a big box full of leads and collars and toys
Nice.
and treats.
Wow.
That way the vets don't have to go do it. They will take their last $5 and spend it on their dog before they'll take for themselves. So we try to take the financial burden off of them, being able to cover what we can if it's the vets. We have contract with 2 of our veterinary clinics here in the Valley that help us out. We have the Max and Neo donations. We have a wish list on Amazon that people can jump on there and see what we need and do it that way. So that vet can focus on themselves and not focus on the needs of the dog.
That's really, really cool. And we will have your link on the description of the podcast once it's aired so that people can go to your website and see all this information too. Anything we can do to help you guys. So
Yeah.
We appreciate that because we're a small nonprofit. We are
Right.
local. We don't get federal funding. We don't get state funding. Our funding comes from that $50 that somebody threw in our donation bucket. That $25 that they sent us on PayPal. Those are how we survive.
Yeah.
We have been very conscious that in 10 years, we've never had debt.
Wow.
that's good.
We are all cash, whatever we pay for. We don't do anything on credit. We've made sure that all of our overhead cost is minimalized. So the money truly goes back to the vets and first responders. My entire leadership team are all volunteers and every one of them have come through the program. And so they've paid it forward. That's what they do now is they pay it forward. That's how I got my lead trader started out with me 4 years ago. And he does a phenomenal job. I've got 2 trainers coming up that I know that are going to do great because as we grow, we need those extra trainers because the last thing we want is anybody falling through the cracks.
Right.
We don't have a wait list. We've never had a wait list because somebody's not going to wait to become part of the 22.
I know. That's a scary statistic.
And sadly, it's now at 24. And
Yeah.
50% of the female veterans are committing suicide.
Yep.
It's
Um,
heartbreaking.
Hey guys, I'm getting feedback from somebody. I don't know if there's a radio on somewhere, just so anybody, I don't know if anybody's got anything going on, but weird. I don't know if it's coming through the airwaves. So you don't have a wait list. So the guys have to, and gals have to be somewhat local because they have to be able to get to Caldwell, right?
Yep. Nampa, we are all over Boise, Nampa, Caldwell, so the Treasure Valley and all together.
Treasure Valley. Okay.
Yep.
And if somebody is thinking about maybe this could help me, they could go to your website, right? And get a hold of you. Okay.
So they go to the website and you can schedule an appointment, a one-on-one, an initial one-on-one appointment. We get together, we talk about the program, and then I make sure that all the paperwork's in place and they get started that next Saturday.
Wow.
So we were talking before the show, the difference between an emotional support dog and a service dog, or however the terms are, because they can't, like a landlord cannot tell you no if you have a legitimate service dog, right?
Correct. Emotional support animals are still covered under the Fair Housing Act. So
Okay.
FHA, you can still have an emotional support animal.
Okay.
An emotional support animal has had no training. It can be any species, versus a service animal can only be a dog. For the longest time, it was actually many horses that
Mhm.
were able to be the service animal. The ADA started with service animals back in the 90s. And so the laws have changed up quite a bit over the last 30 some odd years. When it first started, there was no regulations. It was pretty much any animal. So what changed that, I want to say it was in 93. There was a situation in New York City. Somebody had a service monkey. Thing went haywire on the subway and ripped off half of somebody's face.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So that's when the rules got to change. The 10%
terrifying.
screw it up for everybody. And so back and forth over the years, they've done many horses and dogs. And they've changed it up back in 21. And then they said, no more mini horses. It's just dogs now. So service dogs are covered under the ADA. So they have federal coverage. So the ADA, American with Disabilities Act.
Right.
That is covered for state, anything that is a Title 2 or 3 entity, they have to adhere to having a service dog. So if you walk into a federal courtroom and the judge says, I don't allow dogs in my courtroom, he can kick you out. He does not have to allow in a federal courtroom. The VA is federal. And so go into the VA. And I know this for a fact. If the dog acts up at the VA and the VA PD takes them out, they can blackball that dog and not allow them back on campus again.
Yeah.
Wow.
But and then religious buildings are the other one. Churches can tell you no. I was actually denied access with my service dog in Southern Oregon to go to church with my dad. So they have that right. But it's all of the other public access buildings they have to allow. Now, there's 3 reasons. So 2 questions that they can ask. Is it a service dog? What service does it provide? Then there's 3 reasons that a dog can be kicked out of a business. 1, if the dog is not within control of the handler. So the dog has to be on lead or it can be worked off lead as long as it's under vocal control. The dog has to be house trained. So minimum of 12 months old and has to be house trained. And then the 3rd one is if the dog is a disruption within the environment. So example, my lead trainer was over at Texas Roadhouse. He walked in, he's got a standard poodle is his service dog. There was somebody else in there that already had said they had a service dog. So my vet walks by and this dog leaped out from under the table and went to go nail his dog. They know us over there. And so they came up, the manager came up, is Coco okay? Yeah, everything's fine. And they dismissed that person. So under the ADA, they can dismiss them. And that's what we like to share with folks, with the businesses for fraudulent dogs, because the fraudulent service dogs do so much damage that people don't realize. If the dogs, so a PTSD escalation, the hormones change, that's what the dog is cueing on. They can sense that smell change, and that's what they're going to cue. But if there's a dog that is coming out at them or barking at them, now their attention's divided. So how are they going to catch that scent if they're worried about, is this dog coming to get me or my mom? And so if the dog is kicked out of a building, then it only lasts for 24 hours. The VA can do it permanently. So that's why I tell folks, if you're going to the VA, be very careful. Because if your dog acts up, you're going to have an issue. We had a situation there with one of my vets and her Great Pyrenees. And this woman walked right up to her dog and went to go pet him. My vet asked her to back off. She said, well, I'm a trainer. And she looked at her and she goes, you're not my trainer. Then the woman went to go give a dog a treat. Our dogs are trained not to take anything because people are sick and twisted, and they will raise treats. And our dogs don't get treats unless it's coming from a source that we know. So my vet told her to back off again. Then somebody that she was with came up with a little Fifi dog and went to go put the Fifi dog in Gus's face. And my vet got pissed. And she shoved the woman, got her back. They ended up, the VA PD got called in, and they had to go to VA court over it. So the judge had them both tell their sides of it.
There's a VA court?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, there's VA drug court. There's all kinds
Well, I know there's drug court, but there's a VA court?
There's VA court.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's where we try to get most vets to get funneled into if they've got some criminal stuff going on.
Yeah, I know the drug court,
Yes.
the VA, but okay.
And so the judge looked at the other trainer, said, who do you train with? And she said, looked at my vet and said, who do you train with? And she said, he's a GPSD dog. And the judge said, you looked at the other woman and said, you don't bring another dog on campus, and looked at my vet and said, you're good to go.
Fantastic.
They know the quality of dogs that we have. They know that what we do with our dogs are legit. They know what to expect. So when you were saying about the guardian angels, that's part of why our logo is what it is. So our logo is the shield, and the shield is that of protection. The guardian angel wings, because they are such guardians over us. The paws, obviously, for the dogs, and then the dog tags to represent for our vets and our first responders. So
awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing. I'm just like in total awe of what you guys provide for our veterans and first responders. Definitely a need for sure. So how do the dogs, do you guys get them from, like, I've seen some other organizations that'll get them from shelters. And we've actually had a dog from our local shelter that was adopted for a service dog and has actually done amazing.
awesome.
Do you guys do that? Do you guys look at local shelters, or how do you guys obtain the dog?
Our local shelter, our local big shelter, is going through some changes right now, so we're not doing any work with them at the moment. This last batch that I needed, I just put word out on Facebook. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. I've got to find 4 dogs. I needed a puppy, and then I needed a couple of large dogs, and I put it out there, and that's how we found the babies that we have this last week.
Are there any
different options.
Are there any specific breeds that you call for, or is it just an open call?
It's all different depending on the vet. So if I have a vet that is sedentary, I'm not going to place a husky with them.
Right.
If I have somebody that is a neat freak, I'm not going to place an Akita with them. Because you wind up with that Akita fur everywhere. So my boys are still blowing coat this year.
Same thing with the German Shepherd.
That's exactly it. And so those are the things that I look at. If I know that the vet's auditory, then I'm not going to place a vocal dog. So I'm not going to place a German Shepherd with somebody who's auditory, because every sound that dog makes, they're going to hear. And it's going to be more of an escalation than it is going to be a calming.
Yeah.
So like with Matt, the reason I place the Akita with him, because Akitas are very quiet dogs. Akitas only make noise when something's wrong. And so it was a perfect fit for Matt. He didn't care about the fur, didn't have to worry about a tail bopping his kids around, doesn't have to worry about the dog making noise. So we look at all of those things individually for each one of the vets. Now, I've had a couple of times where there's dogs that I met that I just needed to get out of a situation. I knew they would be phenomenal. And we've had some of our teams that will foster a dog for a little bit of time until we get the right vet in for them. But we want to do that perfect placement. In 9.5 years, we've had 3 washouts. And it had nothing to do with the dogs. It had to do with the vets. And
Yeah.
you're looking at a 60% plus washouts for some of the bigger organizations.
That is, well, it shows that you guys really look at the details, not only of the animals, but of the veterans as well, and the first responders in need. So kudos to you for being so detail oriented when placing your service animals. That is amazing.
And we don't breed discriminate. That's another one. There's other agencies that won't work with the alpha dominant breeds, that don't work with the pits, won't work with the staffies, they won't work with the Akitas or the Rotties. And those are some of the best dogs. I love placing Rotties. They have the best temperament. They're such great dogs, and they do phenomenal. They have that look that most of the vets want of get back, give me some distance. They don't have a tail that's going to be whapping everywhere, and they have that big old goofy grin that they get. I mean, how can you not look at their faces and just giggle? So,
look out for those chihuahuas. They're trouble.
They'll get you. They'll get you.
Hey, Tina, would it be possible for us to, I'm on your website right now, would it be possible to share some of these photos? Can I do that?
Absolutely. You pull anything off of there.
Okay, I didn't want to do that without your permission. So there's a, let's see.
All of my teams sign liability releases and media releases. And so if they don't want to be shared, they don't go on that page.
Yeah. All right. So I think this will keep rolling and we can keep talking. There we go.
So I had 2 mats, both with white Akitas. That's Atlas. That's my baby. That is our vice president. He passed away.
Oh, here, I can go back, I think.
No, you're good.
This picture?
So, yeah, that's Mike and Sheila. They were my lead trainers for the Magic Valley. And Mike passed away unexpectedly.
Wow.
That one sucked big time. The next one was, sadly, every one of those dogs in that one have now passed on.
Oh.
That was from about 8 years ago. And that was at the VA, and they were all in one of the helos. This is the vet, and this was our Halloween. So Harley Davidson is doing a Halloween party for us again. This one was a few years back. That's actually my vet and the service dog that had the issue at the VA.
Aww.
Yep.
Oh, look at this pup.
That's Atlas and my grandpa, who's a Navy vet. Atlas is a giant Akita. He is about 150 pounds. He's a big boy.
That is a big boy.
Yeah.
My grandpa's 6'4", so
Wow.
so this one here, that's Olive, and Olive is the German Shepherd that Matt had that he had to rehome. This one is some of the crew from Gowan Field. We were at the the Vietnam Veterans celebration.
Nice.
And the guys fell in love with Aries. That's the dog that started everything. He's the one that was with Nick.
Trying to keep it from scrolling.
And then that's Sheila, and that's one of our guys from down in the Magic Valley when we had trainers down there.
I think we
got them all.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
Did we get them all?
Yep. Oh, there we go. That's the original crew.
That's awesome.
That's the original crew, and Atlas is the only one that's left. Oh, there's Matt and Moose. Yep. So there's Matt and Moose.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yep. That was 1 year after he got him.
That is
and
awesome.
That's my other Matt and Moose. So that Matt actually works for the Department of Labor. He is the veteran liaison. And when he started working with us, we had to go all the way up the ladder to be able to get approval for him to have Kuma at work with him.
Wow.
And Matt covers all of the state of Idaho and goes everywhere with Kuma. So if you ever have any of the labor folks over there. All right. That one's my dad in Aries.
Aw.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
And then this is Atlas, and that's the newest baby. That is Alistair next to him. And that's how they are. I did not position them like that. That's just how they are. That was last Christmas.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this is amazing. So for people, like I said, we're going to go ahead and link the website in the description of the podcast so that you guys can go on there. And if you have a veteran in need, first responder in need over in that part of Idaho, please contact them.
Reach out. We
Yeah.
actually have an event coming up September 6th, since September is Service Dog Awareness Month. So we do a show and shine. So if it's got wheels and an engine, you can bring it and show it off. All the proceeds from the event stay right here in the Valley, go right back to our vets and our first responders and their service dogs. We do it from 8 to 3 o'clock, and we have a blast. We have a bunch of vendors that come out and hang out with us, and food trucks. And we have a friend that does custom trophies. And then you get to see all the dogs too, because everybody brings out all of our teams. So it's a great time to see and ask questions.
You got me at food trucks and dogs.
I almost said that. That's weird. I was like, I like food.
Great mind.
Very cool. Very cool.
Great minds. So
Great
are
mind.
you expanding this program to other areas, like over here in East Idaho, and then over like kind of on the other side and up north? Are you guys looking to expand, or do you have connections with?
I would love to. I haven't found any trainers that have the ability to step up and do it at the no cost.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. I think the farthest we have folks coming in, we have a couple of vets that come in from Mountain Home, and we have one that comes in from Vail, Oregon
Oh wow!
to
Yeah.
be here.
Wow.
And so it's one of those things. I wish I had more people to be able to do it. I would love to have northern, because we get requests to go up north, but
Yeah.
I'm the only one that does this
Right.
full time, and I can't put it out on my rest of my team. So we're always looking for volunteers. If there's trainers available, I have no problem spreading our organization out through the rest of the state. We've got
No, that's all.
10 years in,
Uh-huh.
we've got it pretty much down to a science now. So,
Wow.
but just wanting to make
I'm
sure.
so excited about your program. I just kicked my desk.
No, it's really, it's just phenomenal what you're doing, Tina, and your whole team. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to send you thanks. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, all of us here are either veterans, or we have connections to veterans, or they're first responders or other halves, or, I mean, it's just that we're all, that's why we started this show, was to deal with the trauma that people are, you know, to try to help, give people
Well,
ideas.
And I've been blessed because my husband is a Marine, my dad's a Marine, my son, my brother, my one grandfather was at Pearl Harbor when it got bombed. My other grandfather was in Okinawa in 45. And so, but every one of mine came home.
Wow.
And not many people can say that.
Yeah.
And so for me, this is just that little bit that I can give back, and
Mhm.
just my little bit to be able to say thank you and pay it forward to the next person. And that's
Yeah.
what we have our teams do, is you love what we do. You love what you've done for you. Step up and pay it forward to somebody else. Make a difference in
Absolutely.
somebody else's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was back in the 90s. New York State actually did a study on Medicare and Medicaid patients. They had two groups. One group that had positive interaction with an animal 3 to 5 times a week, and the other one did not. The group that did had less doctor visits, decreased ER visits, decreased medication, decreased mortality rates.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is that big of a difference that it makes in their lives.
Yep.
And a vet will hold on for their dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we can all say that we love you unconditionally. Reality is there's always a condition.
Mhm.
There is a condition in there somewhere. I make the joke all the time about put your SO and your dog in the trunk of your car, come back an hour later. Who's going to be happy to see
I
you?
know, right? There's a group on Facebook that I'm a part of, and I don't know, Doc, if you're on there too, but it's called Dysfunctional Vets.
Yes.
And
Yes, I am.
yeah, and every once in a while, somebody's somebody's struggling.
Mhm.
And that's when we go, do you have, who's going to take care of your dog? You got to stay here, man. You got to take care of your dog.
That's exactly.
And I know that the group is really strong at talking each other off that ledge. And those animals are what bring you around.
Oh yeah.
They bring you around big time. So
yeah, absolutely.
mhm.
And that's what we try to show with that. And we have a phone tree. We also have somebody that has a phone on my administration assistant. Gosh, words are hard today. He has the phone on 24/7. Unless he is sleeping through the phone ringing, his phone is always on. So there's somebody that can be talked off the ledge.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because those demons are the ones that come out between that 2 and 5 in the morning when nobody else is up and you're feeling lost and alone.
Yeah.
There's been times where I had one guy one night, we were getting done training and we're sitting around the table and he looks at me and goes, Mama, I don't want to go home. I said, well, what's going on, babe? And he goes, I know if I go home, I'm going to swing by the liquor store before I get there. And I know if I go home, I'm going to drink it all. We sat there till 1:30 in the morning talking. Till he finally went, okay, Mama, I'm tired. I'm good. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they want. They want somebody to talk to. And they'll tell their dogs, dear Lord, if my dogs could talk, I'd be locked in a padded room for the rest of my life. Because you'll share stuff with your dog that you won't share with other people.
Yeah.
Your dog gets it. Your dog
Yeah.
understands what's going on. And they're going to give you that unconditional love. And
Yeah.
people just miss out on it because they don't build that bond with them. They don't build that relationship with them.
Yeah.
People all the time, they look at our dogs and I'm like, oh, I want a dog just like that. Do you want to put the thousands of hours into that dog? Because that's what these guys do. It's thousands of hours into their dogs and constant training. People ask us all the time, so when is the training done? Training's never done.
Right.
Especially when it's for PTSD. Because something that was an escalation point last week may not be this week, but now you've got a new escalation point. So that dog needs to figure that out. When other dogs, if your escalations are throwing things and screaming, I've got to have a dog that's going to run into that instead of running away from that.
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch them do it.
Mhm.
It's amazing when they start, especially when the vets first start, and the first times their dogs do something, it's just so fun for me to go, Mama, guess what they did? Mama, guess it. Because you see this life coming back into them. I have so many that had no social life at all. I've had some where I've been so sick that I can't get out to go train, and somebody else will step up and go, can we just hold a social group? I need somebody to talk to today. Understanding the resources that are available. So many people don't know the resources that are available. So I try to make sure that I've got my hand in pretty much every pot around here so I can find the resources, because sometimes that's all it needs. Somebody that has that one little bit of information. Because if you call the VA and you don't ask the right person on the right day, wearing the purple polka dot whose dog's friend just had puppies and he's going to take one, you're not going to get the right answer. And so having somebody that knows that, and if I don't know the answer, hopefully I know somebody who does. So it's not just the service dog part of it. It's very much a family. We tick each other off. We get on each other's nerves. But at the end of the day, we got each other's back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
and that's what I see that makes the biggest difference with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, phenomenal work, Tina. I can't thank you enough. And continued success. I wish you nothing but the best, because the more people we can help, just one at a time, one person at a time, we can save quite a few. So
that's our little tagline, saving our local heroes one dog at a time.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
phenomenal. Doc, Jesse, do you have anything else that you wanted to?
No, because I will start crying.
I know. You're trying to hold it together. I've been watching.
I'm trying to hold it together.
There's nothing wrong with tears. Tears are a good thing.
You are a whale of good information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, such a pleasure to have you on the show, Tina. And
yes.
And anyway, you
I
make
appreciate
my
you guys.
week. That's for darn sure. So
Yeah.
thank you
Well,
so much.
I'll have to swing over that direction and bring some dogs over sometime.
If
Yeah.
you ever do, please reach out and email me because we'll do something. We'll get a reporter there to help spread the news.
That's phenomenal.
We have a paranormal team, so we've always got reporters in the back pocket.
Oh, wow. I want to go on a paranormal.
All right, now you got
That
to.
one.
Now you
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
My granddaughter,
Yeah.
she goes, Nani, which shows are you watching? And she'll look up, she'll go, nope, I can't watch one of your ghost shows.
Yeah, so you swing over here. We'll try to hook. We'll do something. We'll get something going for the paranormal, and then you can showcase your dogs. Yeah, because the reporters are always wanting to go on the haunted stuff. So
Very cool.
yeah, we'll
Well,
combine
I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you
you.
having us.
Yeah. Okay, and everybody out there on the interwebs, thank you for watching the show, and we'll be back with you next week. We have a search and rescue first responder who did, I think, 20 years in the Tetons.
Wow.
As a climber on search and rescue. So his story is
Holy cow.
crazy. Yes. So we will hit you guys next week. Thanks for joining in, and take care, everybody. Be safe.